we'll start with the prayer first. Close your eyes, palms together. Watch your breath. Once your breath was normalized, seek the blessing from the Guru's goddess in all your thoughts. So you feel you are done, slowly open your eyes. Okay, today we are going to start with the second house. Last week we see the first house and the third house slightly. We'll start with the second house. But before that, there should be, we are going to have some kind of practice from the last week onwards. From that last week, I'm going to add one more thing today. That is, you are going to concentrate on the everyday Panjangam also. The Panjang is nothing but the five different kind of information you're going to know. Every day there are the different kind of information will be there. It's about the stars, it's about the Tithi, but mainly you have to be understand with the five different things. One is the Tithi, second nakshatra, yoga, karana, and the day, which day it was. So this is the main basic thing. Every day you are going to see the planetary position. What are the information you have to see? Where is the Chandra? And we already know where is the Rahu and Ketu. At this moment, Rahu is in the Meena, Ketu is in the Kanya, Mangal is in the Mesha, Guru is in the Mithuna, Saturn is in the Kumbha. So this all the yearly grahas, you have to be in a clear understanding in Gocharam. That Gocharam is nothing but your daily planetary position. In the Gocharam, I'm able to, give me 1 second, 1 second. Neena Neelam not able to join. Why? There was no need for registration also.
Okay. No, it is asking you to sign in. It is asking you to sign in with your Zoom ID. When you click on the link.
Okay. Let me see, I can remove that. Give me 1 second, give me 1 second. I removed that, but I don't know. Yeah. Neelam also. Neena has joined, definitely Neelam can join. Neelam was not able to join still now?
Yeah, even she wasn't. I'll just talk to her, Vinita, one moment.
Okay. Let's see. It looks like they will sort out the problem. We'll continue the class now for now. Okay. If you see into the daily planetary position, we have to see the Chandra. We already know that where the moon will be 1 to 2.25 days. It will move from one Rasi to the another. At this moment, today it was in the Kadaka Rasi. Then you have to understand where is the placement of the yearly graha. So this is the daily planetary position, not your Janana Jatakam. This is the daily planetary position. You have to see every day. Then in addition to that, what are the other things you have to do? You have to see the Panjang also. Every calendar will have that Panjang, yes, the small size below the date and below the date. You will see the Panjang also. Or else in the Trik Panjang, you can go into the daily Panjang where you can see all this information. Or every software is also having the same information. Then importantly, what you have to see, Tithi is a Vidya up to full night. Full night means the entire night is the Vidya, the Vidya. Okay, one more important thing. From yesterday, there was an Navratri starts, right? In a year, you will see the four Navratri, 3 months once, 3 months once. There is an important thing also here. Every human, the first, the Navra, 3 months, the first 9 days, the first every 9 days, your energy flow will be increased, and the chakra which is holding the chakra which is consuming the energy level will be high at this point in time. If you want to increase, if any of the Reiki practitioners, this is the best day for them. The first 9 days of the 9 days of the Navratri, when they meditate, their energy level will be increased. Even if they are doing the Reiki practice for a very long time, this is the best time for them to cleanse themselves, to increase their aura cleansing. This is the first 9, the Navratri 9 days is the best. It starts from your Muladhara, goes to your 9 chakras. The entire thing will be cleansed in the upcoming 9 days. It starts from yesterday till I believe it will is around 14, I guess. 9 days it's totally. Today is the second day. So go on this 9 days, just if you don't like to celebrate Navratri also, at least pre-chant or meditate. If you whatever the meditation you are practicing, this is the best time for your meditation. Without any help, when you're sitting the meditation on this particular days, you don't need any help. You don't need to shut your mind. You don't need to control yourself. You don't need to withdraw your senses. These 9 days will help you to increase your meditation very, very efficient. And the best time starts in the before sunrise or after sunrise. This is the best time for your meditation, particularly these 9 days. It will be a very beautiful, awesome journey for your meditation practice. Okay, let's come back to the lesson here. And the nakshatra is the Punarvashu. Sometimes the one nakshatra will be occupy most of your day and night time. Sometimes it comes in the 2 nakshatras will come. Punarvashu up to what time? 7:18 a.m. Then the Pushya nakshatra will come. Yoga, this one, yoga and karanam, I always tell you about the yoga and karanam. I didn't explain why it is. Let it be for now, for some more days. And later on, I will include the information in between. What kind of the karana will be good, what kind of the yoga will be good. At this moment, familiarize with the name only. Harshana till the 4:43 a.m. July 8. Then Vajra will start. Then the Karana is the Balava Karana up to 7-8 p.m. Then the Gaulava Karana up to full night. See, I already told you, the people who are born on the Gaulava Karana, if they plant any kind of the plant or the trees, even though if the root was damaged, it will grow very well. That is the efficient of the Gaulava Karana born people. Okay, today is the weekday, is the Ravi Varami. Today is a Sunday. Paksha is a Sukla Paksha because this is the next day after the full day of the Purni. So this Panjang you have to be familiarized. You may ask, Vanita, this is the necessity. I had a lot of works. I don't want to do it. At least do it alternate days. You have to be familiarized with this kind of an information. That will be easier in your journey. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So every time whenever you see your Jatakam, any horoscope, whenever you read the horoscope, concentrate on the day, which day the Jataka was born, because you already had the information about the time of the birth, place of the birth, as well as the gender and the age. This information you already put in your hand, and then only you create the horoscope for that person. Then from that, find out which day the individual was born, on which tithi, what is the nakshatra, yoga, and the karana. This is about the Janana Jatakam I'm speaking. I finished with the Kocharam now. I'm moving into the whenever you open the horoscope to read, what is the information you have to look at immediately. So once you understand this, the 5 things, date, tithi, nakshatra, yoga, and karana, then move into the lagna. if which lagna it is, which degree it is, and any graha in it, any aspect of the grahas to the lagna, or the lagna, the graha in the lagna aspecting any houses. So once you note it down, then find out the yearly grahas. Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, and Rahu and Ketu also important. Now, once you find out which house it was placed, moving into the next one, then where we have to understand about the houses and the planets. Currently, we are in the second house. Last week, we had a discussion about the first house, that is your ascendant. So the houses and the planets, we have to have an overall look, then find out the high degree planet and the low degree planet. Then in between, whenever you see the Jatak, whenever you see the horoscope, make a practice, have the Kocharam next to you. What is the Kocharam next to you? That daily planetary position, whenever you have an horoscope in your hand, make the Kocharam also next to you. So that will be the good practice. You will understand. You may also predict what kind of the question the person is going to ask to you also. Based on the placement of the moon in the Kocharam, the individual will ask the question. So that will be the different story. If you find a time, we will have a discussion about how to find the question from the individual. So right now you just have an understanding about your horoscope and the Kocharam next to each other to find to start your analysis. So once this was ready, this is the red. At this point, let's whenever you see the horoscope, make these steps as your practice. Okay, now let's getting into the second house. A little bit go fast today because we are lagging very behind. If you feel I'm moving very fast, of me and ask me the questions, or I will make it very slow. Okay. I believe till now you will understand. Yes or no? No?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The second house is the Dhanasthana. Every some people will call it the house. Some people will call it the Bhava. So when they are using interchangeably, don't get confused. Second Bhava, second house. Both the things are the same. Then the second house means the Dhanasthana. Importantly, Dhanasthana. Even though it represents your family, it's the mainly for your Dhanasthana. How much wealth you have, how much the money inflow you have. It is represented by the second house. So then you may ask the question, is the only second house it will represent your money? No. 2, 5, 9, 11. If you have these houses, the good graha or good aspecting of the graha in it, then the money flow will be very rich. If the second house is not in a good position, or or the aspecting is also not good, definitely the money flow will not be in your hand, or you will accumulate so many debts. Even if the money is coming to you, it won't be in your hand. The expense will be really high. Instead of an income, the expense will be really high. Now let's look into what are the second houses mainly for. Second house indicates the inflow of the wealth. It may be from any ways. Your bank balance, and importantly, your right eye comes into the physical body. It's a right eye. Sorry, right eye. Your family and yearly age or the boyhood speech. What is that meaning? When if the second house is not good, if there was the graha's debilitation, or it was not in a good position, the auspiciousness was reduced, then the speech coming forth an individual also become delayed. You may also heard about some child will become the speech after 3 years or 4 years later, instead of in the early age. They will speak after 4 years, 5 years also, because the second house may not contain a good high in it. That's why the speech is also come to them very late. Self-earned wealth means whatever you earned from them. There is also a fifth house represents you inherit from others, you inherit from your ancestors, you inherit from your fathers. But here, this is your self-earned wealth. Whatever you can able to earn, whatever the potential you can earn, and the loss and the damage whatever the worldly position means, everything, your any kind of the asset you able to possess, everything comes into the second house. If the if the second house is the auspicious is really high, definitely you will have the jewelry in your home, and you may acquire the jewelry from your ancestors as well. And it also represents grandfather and the mother. It denotes the family, especially eyesight, understanding with the family members. Importantly, this is the understanding about the family members. Inheritance, it comes from, so you may get a value, you may get the asset from your father and the mother. That may also comes here. And the lawsuits, this will see about if this person comes can encounter any kind of the lawsuits also. The second house will tell you that. And when it comes into the physical body, it's a second section, right? Your head and the face becomes your first house. Your throat and the right eye, it becomes your second house. Domestic comforts in general, mainly any kind of domestic comforts. It means how you sophisticatedly living. That represent from your second house. Okay. That's why it's mainly represented as the Dhanasthana. The second house is importantly for your wealth and your family and the year and the speech from your yearly page. And whatever the worldly possession you have. So altogether it makes as wealth and your family and the speech and the communication. Once you remember these 3 points, it's more than enough. When it comes into the physical body, right eye and the throat. If this things comes into your mind all the time, that's more than enough. Okay. After third house, we'll see one sample chart. Okay, let's move in. Okay, anybody have a doubt in the second house? Dhanasthana?
No, no.
Okay. Third house
Vanita,
is
Vanita, one question here. I have heard that if people have Guru in their second house, so whatever they say or they think happens. Is that true?
second house is the Guru, Jupiter.
Guru, yeah, Jupiter. So whatever they say will happen is what I've heard people say. So is that true?
It depends upon the which lagna they are. And there is also depends upon the aspect of the Guru also.
Say it's Mithuna Lagna and Kataka would be the second house and Guru is Ucha, right, exalted in there. So whatever they say, will that happen?
Because their wisdom was really high. It won't happen in that way because see, whenever there is a difference between the Mercury and the Buddha. Once you understand this, you will understand that line also. Mercury is the knowledge, but the Guru is the wisdom. What is the wisdom means? When you acquire the knowledge, you know how to use it, where to use it, what to do with it, where to apply also. So when the Jupiter, when you are having the second house Jupiter, they know how to speak, where to speak, how to apply, how to implement. That's why when you're speaking, it has come to them naturally. If they give the advice, it will be go through because they have a lot of wisdom. Because that was Jupiter's energy. Jupiter's energy is the high wisdom. It's not the high wisdom is whatever the knowledge you acquired, it can apply. That will come into manifestation very easily. But that is not only, but you can't simply say second house Guru will give you the statement which you said now. We can't conclude with that. We have to see Mithuna Lagna second house is the Jupiter was exalted. And you have to see what are the other grahas, which Lagna, like you have in the Mithuna Lagna, any graha was in it?
No.
Then we have to see what are the other grahas placed in it. Where is the Mercury? And Lagna Lord why Mercury? Because the Lagnadipati is the Mercury. So we have to see where the Mercury will be. Why we have to see the Mercury? The Lagnadipati represents an individual. If his speech have to be taken by others, if his speech was truth, then the Lagnadhipati have to be strong.
Okay. But then the second house stands for Kutumbasthana also, right? So can we say that whatever he says, at least in the family, that should happen, kind of a thing?
Definitely happen. Yeah.
Okay.
for sure. Yeah.
Thanks, Vinita.
One more thing also, remember one thing. The second house, the first house is the 12th house for the second house. For the first house, second house will increase. For the second house, first house will decrease. It's a kind of, it's an easiest one. So you remember when the last class I told you that every 12th house will decrease the energy of the first house. So when you see the Lagna, the second house is the Kadaka. For the Kadaka, which is the 12th house?
Mithuna.
Lagna is the first. The Mithuna Lagna becomes the 12th house. So for the second house, the first house energy will be depletes the second house. For the first house, second house energy will be increase the first house. So if this was confused you, leave it. But when you practice, you will understand this. Because every house will have, it's a kind of the rotational movements. One house, the front house, the house which is in front will increase the energy. The house in back will decrease the energy. It's in a cycle. When you are
Vanita, I have a question here. When you say that the energy of the house will be depleted, what do you mean by that, Vanita?
The depletion means you are not able to acquire whatever see when you are doing one day where you had a very long day, okay, and at the moment of that when you are enter into the home, what do you feel? You feel like I don't have energy to put my feet in one step also. Your energy is completely depleted, right? You don't have an energy to do anything. So what is the depletion here is when the energy for the Jataka was depleted means he is not in a state to consume energy from the elements. He is not in a state, okay, I can consume the energy from the elements, do other works. He already in a tired state. His level because his energy level becomes zero. If you play if you play a video game there, if you are in a life was going in a percentage level, we start from the 0 to 100. When you are doing a mistake, the percentage will be reduced, right? It will happen in the real life also. Once your energy was reduced and you are reached that your point, your energy will completely reduced. You are not able to consume that energy. For that, you have to do what you have to do. You have to take a rest to come back to regenerate yourself to come back to the previous day. Correct? So that is the same because in order to consume the energy from the universe, it was like you can do it in a practically also. So you don't sleep for a one night, entire night. Even though if you don't do anything also, the very next day your energy will be depleted because your internal body organs was not taking the rest, and particularly your brain is not taking the rest. So even though if your body was not taking the rest, it won't give you that kind of the symptom. But if your brain was not taking the rest, particularly when the lights are off, when the sun was set, when your brain was not taking the rest, it will give you the tremendous impact on your body. It will give a great toll in your body. That's why you feel the tiredness. At that moment, you become so much depleted. You're not able to get the energy from anything. For that, simplest remedy is go and sleep, take rest. So once you come back to the normal, then you consume the energy. Same goes for the everything. When I said depletion means the Jataka is not in a state to consume the energy from the universe.
Okay, thank you, Vanita. Thank you.
You can do the experiment also. When you are in a tired state, go into any kind of a temple. If it was such a temple, and you will regenerate easy. But at the same time, if that temple was in a different structure, and if you are not in a good state, and if you enter into that depleted mind level or energy level, you may feel the tiredness. Or instead, you can do one more experiment also. When you are in a very tired, Go and touch the sea water. You will get rejuvenated very immediately. Stay in the sand, standing the ocean water at least for 10 to 20 minutes. You feel that you will get rejuvenated very, very quickly and you come back to normal state. This is the natural way of regenerating yourself. Okay, let's come back to the lesson here. When I say depletion means the Jataka was not in a state to acquire the energy. Any doubts from here?
No.
Okay, awesome. Okay, that's about the second house. That's moving into the third house. When it comes into the Pratrusthana, that is the third house. It's also called as when the house of the courage. How much your courage will be, how much you can hold the confidence in your life, how much you have the confidence to face the world or face yourself. That is defined by the third house. Mainly denotes your younger brother and sister. Remember, this is brother and sister, but they are younger to you and their relation. If the if the third house didn't have any association of good grahas, definitely you won't have a good relation with them. One thing, suppose in case you have a different relation with them, but what are the other impact? One thing is you don't have a good relationship with them. Suppose in case you have a good relationship with them, then whatever the things you some in one or the other way, the expense will go away for them from your hand. You have to handle the expense for them or any kind of the trouble you have to face for them. So this, they know, if it was the malefic graha, if it was the benefic graha, you will have a tremendous support from your siblings. You will have a very good relationship. You will have the support from them. You will acquire the courage or confidence in your life from them. If you have the benefic grahas. Now coming to the signifying, I already told you, this is the house of the courage. How much the individual is holding the courage in themselves. How much it's not only towards the others, it's towards you. How you have the courage to face yourself. If you speak with yourself, you may not able to face yourself. But if you have the good graha in the third house, then you have the tremendous courage to face yourself. That significance, the courage and your intelligence also. Your communication skill will come into play here. And the task of writing, if once you are once they are trying to write, if the benefic grahas was placed in the third house, they have the very good style of writing and ornaments, clothes. Short journey. This is the very short journey. It's a journey, but short journey. What does that mean? Short journey. You will come back in a day. It's not a long journey. You will come back in a day. Within a district or within a state to state, but will come back in a day. Signing contracts and the documents will come into picture here. Okay, let's coming into the body parts, your arms and the right ear and the shoulder. Okay, why we need to remember the body parts? Because once the third house is not good, definitely you have a problem with your right ear or the shoulders or the arms. In other words, the third house is not in a good graha in it, more malefic grahas was in it. You may not have the confidence, you may not have the courage. There is also one psychological thing here. If you have the fear of everything, which part of your body hold that energy? Mostly your shoulder. When your courage was less, when you don't have a confidence to face the world, your shoulder pain will increase, particularly your upper back and around the shoulder area, it will increase the pain. That definitely denotes you have to increase your courage in your life. Mostly once you feel afraid of the others or afraid to face the world or afraid to face yourself, your shoulder will show you have that courage to face the world or not. And comes into the third house, who also represents how much you are passionate about the art and culture, sports involved in it. everything will be shown in the third house. If one person want to well versed in the sports, try to see the lagna in the third house, because the lagna represents an individual. See the third house. If the third house was having the benefic graha, they can definitely going into the space because they had the confidence, they had the muscles, that muscles will have the strength to uphold their energy. When you are going for a sports, your muscle memory plays the biggest role. If you want to have any kind of the movement, the muscle memory has an energy to hold that memory. If your muscle is not able to hold that memory, then n number of times you are practicing, it won't be give you exact benefit to you. Okay, that is the third house. Any doubts in the third house?
Vanita, one question I have. See, in siblings, sometimes it's always like, is it because of a weaker house of the elder to the younger that one keeps doing to the other a lot? So that means the elder one is having a weak house or malefic grahas that way, or how does that work? What is that logic there?
The logic is very simple. If the third house was having the benefic graha, then the sibling relation, that means the younger sibling relation will be really very good. They will definitely give you confidence. Okay, imagine you have the graha, which is combined with Rahu and Ketu particularly. You may have the good relationship with them. But the point here is that there will be two things will happen. If you have the good relationship with them, then you have to spend some kind of the expenses for them only, or you have to face the trouble instead of them. Whatever the trouble they are making, you are the person going to solve for them, or whatever their expense, you have to bear with that. If the relationship was good, if the relationship was not good, then then this won't happen.
Yeah.
Two things will happen, one and another. The two things may not happen simultaneously, but if the relationship is good, you have to bear the other things. If the relationship is not good, then you don't worry about anything. But here, this is only happen when the malefic graha. When the benefic graha was in the third house, it opposite. The siblings will give you confidence. The siblings will give you the courage. They will support you in everything. Here the difference is how much the auspicious of the third house graha is. If the third house auspiciousness increase, then it's a kind of balance. Your confidence is also increased. The third house auspiciousness decreased, then your courage is also decreased. Okay, but once you see this one, you have also see how the lagna also, because lagna represent the individual, you have to be combined together and see. If the lagna was strong and the third house was having the malefic graha, don't worry, the the ascendant energy will be withhold that, even though they are facing this kind of the different energy, malefic energy, they can uphold that energy, because if your lagna was strong, they can able to face it.
Okay. No, my question basically, what was in my mind is, no, this is happening in the family, not like two brothers, my dad and like that was happening. So my dad does something for him, it's always good for him. Like anything for him, he registers a house, or he will, like, he gets a plot for him, like he does the work for him. That comes out like very fruitful, in the sense it is always a prosperous thing and it gains us a lot of money. But on the other hand, he tells us something, it goes in loss. So that way I ask, so that way, like the person who is doing which is good for the other person, that means he has good graha. Is it so? Or
Wait. Your father was doing the thing to your brother, right?
no, my father and like my we call Chitappa in our language.
Oh, okay.
So the brother. So if my dad does anything, like he's kind of booking a house, he'll book for him also. That will be very prosperous. So we'll buy for only 20 lakhs, but then we'll sell it for 1 crore, something like that. That would be the equation. But he tells us to buy a land on the other hand. So when we buy, that goes down actually. We buy
This is
for
the
20, but we'll sell for 10 lakhs. So
okay.
like
Then
that
this is the,
equation. Yeah.
I understand. I understand that. Then this is the good homework for you. Get
Okay.
their horoscope, both of them. Then see the third house. No,
Okay.
for your father is the elder brother, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He's the elder one.
Then your father see the third house for your father and the 11th
Hmm.
house for your Chittappa. You are the
Oh,
young.
11th house.
See the
Okay.
11th
Okay.
house. If
Okay.
this combination was correct, then
Hmm.
I believe your father's third house will have the benefic graha, and the 11th house graha in your will be not that much good. That's why
Okay.
the
Because
reaction
okay.
will.
Otherwise, he's very good and all, nothing like that. But when he also does it, but it doesn't work. Business also, it will be loss, something
Yeah,
like that. That's why I
yeah,
asked. Okay.
this will happen because of the girl. But this is the very good example for you. Go and grab their horoscope and check these
Sure.
two things. And
Okay.
combine it with their lagna also. If their lagna,
Okay.
because as per my understanding now, your father's lagna would be good because the lagna was not good. Third house may not activate properly.
Okay.
Both the things will happen. If the lagna was having the less energy and the third
Hmm.
house is also having the less energy, then the impact will be really high.
Okay.
But if the first house was having a good energy, and even though the third house was holding auspiciousness very less, it can uphold to the limit. But
Okay.
if both the things are in a good level, whatever they do, it will be in a very good.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Any other question for the third house? Okay. We'll see one horoscope as an example. This is I get from this date of birth, which I had. You remember we had the horoscope Excel. There I found this first or second item. This is the first one, I guess. The date of birth is the 12th 14 1959. I'm not remember his name. Whoever it is, thanks to you. Okay, let's go ahead with this Jatakam first. Once we had the time and date of birth and the gender and the age, we can able to understand from the software itself. Let's go through the first thing. Tithi is the Purnima. Oh, one important thing. Once you have the Tithi as the Purnima and Amavasya, what is special about these people? These people didn't have Tithi Shunya. We'll had this at least in 2-3 weeks. I will tell you about what is a Tithi Shunya. And right now we're having rough assumption. The Tithi Shunya means when the person who's born on any of the Tithi, 2 Rashis will become the Tithi Shunya. For the Chaturdash, for the 14th Tithi, there are the 4 Rashis becomes Tithi Shunya for them. This will have the at least detailed lesson in some other classes. For now, remember, Purnima and Amavasya didn't have the Tithi Shunya in any of the Rashis. Okay, that is the special about the Purnima and Amavasya people. That's why you remember one time I told you, if the people who born on the Purnima and Amavasya, when they are doing for the meditation, their consume energy from the universe will be really high. It's really, really hard for them to sit for the meditation. But if they did, they will get it 20 times greater than other Tithi peoples will do. That kind of an energy level they will get from the universe. Okay, it's getting into the day, the Monday. Nakshatra is a Rohini, and the yoga was the Satya, and the Karana was the Vishti Karana. Okay, the Vishti Karana only in some software you may see it as the Bhadra. Sometimes you may see it as the Vishti, because the Vishti is between the 2 Karanas. So sometimes you may see the Vishti Karana. In some other softwares you may see the Bhadra. Okay, don't get confused. This all because some software may not use the Vishti Karana. Jagannath Hora used the Vishti Karana, that's why it was showing this. If you see the some other softwares, they won't consider the Vishti Karana. Okay. Okay, once you understand this one, I know the Yogam and Karana you don't have an understanding, that's totally fine. At least read the name. One day, or at least when the classes are going on, I will insert the few informations here and there. So one day we'll have one full session about the Karna and the yoga. Let's coming into the Rashi. Now we are concentrating only on the second and the third house. Okay. Let's have the first thing. Lagna is which Lagna this person was having? Anybody?
Dhanur Lagna.
Dhanur Lagna. Any graha in it?
Shani.
Saturn.
Saturn in it. Dhanur is the owner. Who's the owner of the Dhanur Lagna?
Jupiter.
And where is the Jupiter in this chart?
Vrichika.
Vrikshik.
12th house.
It is in the 12th house. Awesome.
Yeah.
The 12th house. So even though Jupiter was in a auspicious graha, but it was in the hidden house. So the auspicious will be definitely reduced. And that, but the interesting thing is this person didn't have Tithi Sunya, so the Lagna was in the Dhanur Lagna, but the owner was in the 12th house. The auspiciousness will be a little bit reduced. Here come one question. Saturn was placed in it. Saturn and Jupiter, enemy or friend?
Saturn and Jupiter.
Whatever you say, I will take it. So take whichever it is correct. Saturn and Jupiter. Any idea? Can I give you some clue?
Yeah.
Saturn and Jupiter didn't have any kind of a direct enemy or friend kind of stuff.
Neutral.
Neutral. Saturn and the Jupiter are neutral in nature. So the Saturn was sitting not in a friend house, not in an enemy. So it is not that much comfortable, but okay. So Saturn was in a okay situation. Let's see about the Saturn houses. Saturn houses was the second house and the third house. The Makara and the Kumbha becomes the
Kumbha.
second house and the third house. Here's the interesting point goes on. Okay, here comes the interesting thing. Now we'll have to see before getting into the second and the third house, any of the grahas was expecting the Lagna. This is the thing you are going to say. If any graha was expecting the Lagna, if you say, I will say yes also.
No.
No.
Any graha? No? No, right? Yes or no?
No.
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 Okay, no graha was expecting, but Saturn was expecting how many things? 1, 2, 3, 7,
Yeah.
8, 9, and then 10, correct?
Yes.
Saturn expecting Kanya in Ragu was in it, and the Saturn expecting his own house, that is the third house. Saturn expecting the Mithuna, that is the 7th house. No graha in it. The owner Mercury was in the 12th house again. Okay. So here comes the interesting thing. I will tell you one more thing here. Here, except the sun. Okay. Here, one interesting thing happening. For your easy understanding, I'll show you one more graph. Do you see this? Yeah, I erased this one. In the 12th house, there was one interesting thing happening, and I show you one clue in the graph also, in the slide itself. See this one. And compare against this 12th house. There is something happening here. What is this?
Planets are 7 degrees apart from each other.
Here,
No.
okay, here the degree was mentioned. That's why I used this one. This is the 12th house. Even
Now
I meant
sun will be malefic, is it? Because it will burn away everything. No, it is 28 only. It's
combust.
okay.
Combust.
Combust. No, but it is 28. It is less only.
Okay, see the degree. 28 between the degrees, plus or minus.
My no, plus only. It didn't say minus. No?
Before and after plus or minus. Even though it sun 28 degree minus 14 degree also it will do the same. Plus 14 degree also do the same.
Okay.
So which one combust? Mars is combust, Jupiter is
Jupiter.
only a
Jupiter.
stable one is the Mercury. Okay, here
Yeah.
I verified this one. The Saturn in Astro Sage, they mentioned it is the combust, but I compared against the degree. I didn't find the combustion, so I'm not considering this one. I used the different software also. I verified that one. It didn't show the combustion here, but this combustion was confirmed. Mars and the Jupiter. Based on this one also, you do the maths and find out from the Sun. These both the grahas are combust. Okay, one important thing you have to remember here. When the sun combusts the graha, what that means? Sun acquire that energy. So in the place of the Mars, in the place of the Jupiter, sun is going to place the role. Okay, what is that meaning? The sun predominantly mentioning in the its significance or it's a dominance, it's a daydreamer, and he becomes he want to show or hold the leadership in everything. When I see the Mars also, Mars represents the courage, blind courage, and the Guru is the wisdom. So both the things, the courage and the wisdom are combusted. Now here, both this significance will be represented by the sun only. If the Mars going to speak, now the Mars is not going to speak, because now the Mars is represented by the sun. The sun quality will be come into the picture front. When the Jupiter is going to speak, the Jupiter won't speaks here. Instead of the Jupiter, sun is going to speak. So when you consider any of the significance about the Mars and the Jupiter, what you have to see, you have to consider the sun only. Okay? All good till now? No?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, before that, this Lagna is the Chara Lagna, Sthira Lagna, Ubaya Lagna. Tell me that.
It's Ubaya.
Ubaya Lagna. Okay. For the Ubaya Lagna, what is the Badhakasthana? For the Dhanush, which is the Badhakasthana? You want a clue? Chara, Sthira, Ubaya, 11, 9, 7. Go the same order. Dhanush is the which?
7, right?
7. Okay. Now the Badhakasthana will be who?
Mithuna.
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 Lord
Who's
of
the owner?
Mithuna is Mercury.
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 is
Mercury was
in 12th.
placed, it was in the 12th house. So the Saturn was have an eye on the Badhakasthana, that is the 7th house. The owner is placed in the 12th house next to the sun, but it is not combusted. Other two grahas are combusted, this is not combusted. So till now, we are good. Okay, now this is the kind of an information we understand about the Lagna. So the Lagna here, Dhanur Lagna, okay, before that. This is the dual, we understand the dual nature. What are the element, predominant element, which one? Fire, water, earth, air, which one it is?
Fire.
Fire element. Okay, now interesting. Saturn is which kind of element is significant? Saturn represents which element? Fire, air, water, earth, which one? No? Yeah? Try air, Vayu, Vata. Remember that? Saturn is the air. Yes or no? No? Okay. One time we learned about the Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Saturn is the Vata. If your Saturn was not good, if the Shani Dasha, Shani Buddhi was happening, if you look into your body, your Vata energy will be increased. Your skin will be dry often. If your Saturn was not in a good position, or Saturn is retrograde in your chart, see your skin. Your skin becomes dry often. Okay, let's now coming into here. So the fire and the air is the dominant. Fire energy is the owner who's in combust. So here is going to represented by the sun. The sun is in the 12th house. The auspiciousness was reduced. So when it was represented by the sun, even though it was reduced, the Saturn was placed in it. Here comes the interesting story. Saturn and the sun. No, actually Saturn and the Guru, it becomes a neutral, but now the Jupiter was combusted, sun comes into the picture. Now when you see the sun, but here the sun's significance will be represented. When you see the Saturn and the sun, they are enemy to each other. But now don't go overloaded with all the information. Let's see about the Lagna Sani. Lagna Sani, when the Lagna Sani was happening here, if they are not practicing good habits from the early age, they become very lazy. They want to sleep all the time. The sleep is the best thing in the world for them. So with that information, let's move on into the second and the third house. But here, okay, when the Saturn was happening here, why I say it's lazy? The lazy is not for them. They want to be lazy. The energy level is little bit reduced in them because that is the individual, that is energy for the individual. They want to do all the thing very slowly. If consider the Mars was placed in your Lagna, they want to do all the thing very fast. They are fast as what you can't even imagine. That much fast they will be. But when the Lagna Sani was there, they will be very, very slow. For them, it doesn't slow for them. It's nature. For them, it was like, I'm in my own speed. Why they are bothering me? For others, they looks like a lazy. They feel like the sleep is the medicine for them. Others feel like this person is a sleepy. It's a different perspective, but that's why the one easiest word to use is the lazy. But don't consider it as a lazy as a thing. But for them, for that individual, it doesn't lazy for them. But if the Lagna Sani peoples who, but what is the good? What is the biggest thing from it? Even though they feel lazy, but they want to work. They want to work. They believe the work is the only thing they want to achieve in their life. So if the good habits was not taught in the beginning, their life will be really mess. Okay, let's come into the second and the third house. Second house is then again the house for the Saturn, and the third house is also a house for the Saturn. So now here we have to deep into the Saturn only. Saturn expecting its own house, it's good because the Saturn is not in a bad house. It's in a Jupiter house only, but that's okay. Then it's looking at its own house, and the Saturn is also looking into the Bhatakasthana. Saturn is also looking into the Rahu. Saturn and the Rahu, both are malefic graha. So the minus into the minus plus only. And here the Mercury,
Nothing.
malefic graha, aspecting the malefic thing, it increases the malefic. The obstacles in that particular house for them, seventh house is meant for what? From your Lagna, what is the seventh house is meant for?
Partnerships, marriage.
Spouse, any kind of the partnership in your business or in your life, your spouse will become really tough for them because that is in the Bhatakasthana. If they believe easily, they will suffer a lot because if they somewhat they overcome this obstacle, they see the miracle in front of them. But if the partnership was not mostly their partnership is not really easy for them. But that kind of the obstacles, if they overcome one after another, they will see the miracle in front of them. Why I'm saying this? Because the Saturn is the thing will give you the delay first. Then expect the hard work and discipline from you. The Saturn, if you are a person who was sitting in ideally and didn't do anything, Saturn won't like you. Saturn looks for your discipline. Saturn looks for the hard work. Saturn is a very good judge. very good judge. If you are not true to yourself, you are not true to others, he will show his real face to you. So that's why that too, even though it's an obstacle, the seventh house is an obstacle for you, but the Saturn was expecting them. What you have to do, true to them. Don't try to not true to them, true to your partners. But if you fail in the business, one business, don't worry, try again, try again, try again. If you also heard the people who try for the business for 3 more times, they succeed in the 4th time. Definitely they have the Saturn aspect. And the same thing goes here. Once your partner was not true to you, but you are true, definitely the Saturn will help you. Put your hard work, put your discipline in front line, definitely you will success. This is not going to be an obstacle for you. This is a stepping stone for you. We come back here. Second and the third house. How is your second house is mainly for what? Dhanasthana. And your family and your speech. Let's see about your Dhanasthana. Saturn was not aspected by Saturn aspecting only the Rahu, one malefic graha was in it. So this person may, okay, Rahu, what is, when you are combining anything with the Rahu, what is the Rahu is meant for? He's meant for the extravagant thing. He wants everything in an very, very elaborated way. Whatever thing he needs an extravagant. What if you need an ordinary car, he won't like it. He won't be in a very, very, very big car, and he won't do in a different way. He thinks an illusion thing. He's passionate about illusion. But the Saturn was thinks towards the hard work and discipline. When comes into the second house, the Saturn was, why I'm thinking about the Rahu here? Because Saturn was expecting the Rahu. So one malefic graha was expecting the owner. Why we need to consider the Saturn here? That's one more question. Because second and the third house didn't have any graha. Both the houses was owned by Saturn. So once there was no graha in it, then you have to see the owner of the house. Then whatever the thing, the second and the third house will be mentioned by the owner of the house only. So we have to mainly depend on the Saturn. So that's why we have to see what are the grahas which is aspecting the Saturn, what are the grahas which is aspecting the second and the third house. So any grahas aspecting the second and the third house? Do you remember this? Any graha aspecting the third house? Sorry, second.
Mars, 4th aspect.
Yeah, 4th aspect. Wait a second. Let me erase all this. We'll concentrate first on the second house, then we'll quickly move into the third house. Now, the second house, any graha was aspecting Mercury, no, Jupiter, no, Mars also, no. Second house. We are looking into the second house. Ketu was looking, right? Yes or no? Moon, no. Venus, no. Rahu, no.
Rahu.
Yes? Rahu in which?
5.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Oh, you are looking about the 5 and 9. Then the Ketu won't come. Okay, then mostly the second house is also come by. Give it a second. Oh, here is an interesting combination. Saturn and the Rahu. When they are coming into the family and the Dhanasthana, the money will come to them. Definitely the money will come to them, but they may lose, like they reach this heap and they go down like this, because the Rahu will do that kind of the magic to them. If they are not aware when to stop to spending, when to reduce the expense, the money flow will be reduced drastically. When if they stop the hard working, because the Rahu will give that kind of an illusion, they are doing so much of work, they didn't earn money, but the Saturn was expecting the more discipline. The Rahu will turn around in a 360-degree and they do it in a different way. So once definitely they will reach the height. But if you are not aware, if you are not control the expense will be lead them to the downside in that life. About the family, mostly when the Rahu was combined, the relationship with their family may not that much good. It's a kind of sometimes it may be not in that much good relationship with them. Kind of, we have to check with him how the family relationship. But as per my understanding here, it may not be that much good. Okay, let's move into the third house. The third house is the communication, your courage, and the confidence. Okay, now here the interesting point. Here you have to see the magic of the grahas. Now the Mars was playing a role here, right? We'll see that later. Any other grahas for the third house? Saturn aspecting his own house. Mars was aspecting. Any other graha which I missed? For this one. No, right?
No.
Only
No.
Saturn and the Mars. Okay, here comes the story. Mars was combust here. Now the Sun was going to play the role. Okay, here, this is representing your confidence. This is representing your courage. This is told you how you have to react to the world. This is representing about your younger siblings or your younger sister or younger brother. Let's see about that one. Here, the young Sun is Saturn is also expecting Mars is also expecting Mars combustor. So Saturn's energy will be coming into the picture. Saturn and the Sun. Your inner sibling relationship may not be good. And one more thing here, they may be older than you. Even though they are inner sibling, they may be older than you. In other words, they try to dominate you. Both the things may happen. Because this is representing in the third house, the domination is towards you. Because the Sun was representing now. The courage, let's comes about the courage level. Your leadership quality will be high, but that will be only going into the greater level if your hard work and the discipline in a good phase, or if it was streamlined properly, then your leadership quality will be shown to the world. Otherwise, it would be a daydream for you. Okay, over it is. We have to check with him. This must be the first one in the chart. We have to check with him. Anybody want to add any other thing here? Second and the third house? Oh, I exceeded 10 more minutes. Any questions till now? I thought of it 6 hours. Like that. We'll speed up in the next week. Any questions till now?
No.
Okay. We'll stop the class here. We'll see about the from.
I wanted to ask, like, Sun and Mars is combust when it is placed next to the Sun, but even for the aspecting, it will affect.
No. Here, see this. The Mars is placed next to the Sun only. Mars
That
and
is
Sun.
that is that house, huh? That is the 12th house. But
Yes.
now the aspect is, we are seeing the aspect of Mars only. So Mars, I mean the
That's what
combust part will.
No, that's what I'm telling. Here, the combust, even when the combust was happening, the Sun is going to play the role here. Because the Sun is without the energy of the Mars and Jupiter. There is no energy of the Mars and Jupiter now. The energy of the Sun only. So I should not mention it here. It is a Sun directly. But in order to easily understand, I mention it as the Sun. But it's a Mars aspect only. But the Mars was combust, consumed by the Sun. So the Sun energy will be there.
Okay.
So that's why I told you that if you can easily identify, see, maybe this is the Ashish Bhava or the KS. Maybe both of any one of the Jadakam this is. We can check with which one is true. Then we will understand, okay, here it is the energy is Mars or the energy is the Sun.
Okay.
Most of the time, the combust energy won't speak. The Sun will come into the front. Don't believe this. You see one more, at least 10 more jadagam of the combust energy, then you will come into the conclusion. Which energy is coming in front, and the jadagam was speaking in which energy or.
Okay. Understood.
Keep the doubt in mind. See this number of the combust jadagam, then you will have a really good understanding. Why when I say the Mars was combust, why I'm telling about the sun? Why we need to consider the sun's energy in front? So we will understand.
Understood.
Hmm?
Okay. Thank you, Vinita.
Okay. Okay, I stop the lesson here. We'll see you on
Thank you,
next.
Vanita.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vinita.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Vanita.
Bye.